So when we are working with character data, I want us to learn about these two most useful functions, right? So it's one is grep and gsub, right? So we use grep if we want to search elements of a vector for a particular pattern, right? But if we want to replace a particular pattern with a given string, that is where we use gsub. Okay, so we're gonna start by looking at the function grep. Okay, the first argument that we are going to give is the pattern to search for, right? Say for example, we want to search for this pattern which is red. Okay, what follows after that is we specify our vector, which is color string. Okay, we have an additional argument which is value, So if value is set to false, a vector containing the indices of the matches determined by grep is returned, right? But if we specify true, it will return a vector that contains the matching elements themselves. Okay, so we want to set this to be true so that we will return the values themselves. So as you observe here, we're going to return red. It will look for this pattern and return that value. So we're also going to return India red. So if we run that, we observe that we have red and India red, right? So let us look into the other example, right? So we can also use the following symbols such as the dollar sign, and let's first start by using this, is that if we specify this symbol, so what this symbol will do is that it will return only when there is a starting pattern of red. Okay, and we pass in color string, right, and we set value to be true. Okay, so what this does is that it will mark the start of the string and look for the pattern red. So in this case, we are only going to return red because that pattern happens at the start of the string. So we only have red. So if we're looking for the pattern at the end of a string, we will specify red following by the dollar sign, right? So the dollar sign marks the end of the string. And we run this, we can see that we will have red and India red. Now we can also use the plus sign to indicate that that particular string should appear at least once in the string. So we will use a plus sign. For example, let's say we want R to appear at least once in a particular string, right? And if we run this, we can see it will output all the colors where there is at least R. Now, let's say we want to indicate at least two occurrences of a particular letter, right? So let's say we want to at least output where there is at least two occurrences of E. So in that case, we use curly brackets and we specify two. So that means we want those strings where there is at least two occurrences of letter E. And in our vector, that will be green, at least two occurrences of E, right? So this is just a summary of how can we use a function grep. Now we are going to look at gsub function. So gsub functions allows us to substitute a pattern for a value, right? So because we also use regular expressions to search for a pattern, the only additional information that we're going to need is what to substitute in that place of the value that we are substituting. Okay, let's say for example, we say gsub. So let us look at our vector of colors. So if we say g sub, right, now we specify red, right, and we specify brown, right, and this is our vector. So what have I done here? I've said if you see red, substitute red with brown, right? So let us run this. So as we observe here is that in a place of red, we are now going to have brown, green, blue, orange, red. So we now have green, blue, orange, brown, right? We first specify that string and we say substitute that string with this string. Okay, that is g sub.